Hello everyone. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. I'm sure you must be eagerly waiting for the exam analysis for AILET 2022 examination. Now this examination is precisely a gateway for NLU Delhi. Now NLU Delhi, this examination was a mixed bag. I'm sure that you must have had the experience of how to solve the questions that came in AILET. Now, in the previous years, the kind of questions that came and the kind of questions that came this year, is it good, bad, ugly, was it difficult, was it moderate, was it easy? To have a good discussion with us, we have Alpa ma'am. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So, yet again, you see me live and the entire saga continues about the difficulty level, the correct answers, what has happened to AILET, and we'll try to figure out a lot of answers to this session as well. And since mathematics did not appear this year, so Shurojit sir and I certainly are happy and we're going to be taking over the session now, right away. So, let's quickly have a recap of what we had discussed in the previous two sessions. The important highlights of this paper was that AILET was dominated with the English and the critical reasoning section. Many questions of critical reasoning appeared in the logical reasoning section, like we had already predicted. No mathematics appeared and 100 questions were asked, roughly 102 to be precise, were asked from the critical reasoning and the English section. One more thing is that our app is going to be going live in probably the next 1 hour with our answer key and score calculator. So make sure you log into our app and have an access to the score calculator and get to know what your exact score is. So Shurojit sir, on to you. Let's talk about the logical reasoning section and specifically the legal reasoning section that appeared in today's paper.
The kind of questions that came this year was a little surprising. I was not expecting around 12 questions to come from the legal reasoning section. I was expecting around at least around 20-25 questions. So people who had prepared well for legal reasoning, there was a kind of a setback that many question did not come this year. But on a fair note, what has NLU Delhi trying to do? What is it trying to do? It is trying to copy some or take certain inspiration from CLAT.
Maybe, sir, that
They
looks
don't
like.
Want students,
Yeah.
They don't want students to have good amount of knowledge of law, because law will be taught to them in the law school.
True.
Now, there was this kind of a debate over the last couple of years that why does AILET ask so difficult law related question? Do they want lawyers appearing for this examination or a class 12 pass out appearing for this examination? I think they got it right this year. They are not wanting people to have great knowledge. Of course, some amount of knowledge is definitely required, but without knowledge it will be difficult, keeping in mind the time span. But at the same point in time, people who have good reading skills, good logical reasoning skills will be able to solve these questions.
Absolutely. In fact, sir, I think these are the two prerequisites one needs to be a good lawyer in the future. You need to be able to read well and you need to be able to have a logical inclination of mind, and that's exactly what this paper judges you on. I personally am very happy with the paper that has emerged. I'm sure some of us may not be really happy, but I am glad. So ultimately you had one.
I'm also absolutely happy, madam, because owing to the fact that a student who is getting into a law school, as an examiner, do I test on his legal knowledge?
Absolutely.
Then what am I going to teach in first year, second year, third year, fourth year and fifth year?
True. If you, sir, look at the previous year papers, there were many questions on foreign phrases, legal terms. None of them appeared this year, not even one. So that's actually a surprise. And Let's look at the marking scheme quickly because we've already discussed that. There was no sectional timing, so you could switch from one section to the other. That was a good thing because, and is always a good thing because you can decide which section to start with and which section to end with. +1 for every correct and 0.25 deducted for every incorrect answer you would get. Now, sir, how would you rate the logical reasoning section, specifically the legal reasoning questions in terms of its difficulty level?
To be very frank with you, I solved these questions myself, and I personally believe that these questions were not difficult at all. These questions were pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot say about the rest of the logical reasoning section, but insofar as the legal reasoning part that came in the logical reasoning section, I can definitely say that it was not difficult. It was from moderate to easy side.
True.
Easy to moderate.
Yeah.
Towards the easier side, more towards the easier side. Now, if people are aware of the kind of reading they do, if they read newspapers properly, if they read some amount of laws, I'm sure that it was not at all difficult for them to solve these questions.
Absolutely. And the only thing that makes logical reasoning tricky would be tons and tons of CR coming into it and the length. That's the only reason why.
It was lengthy. It was lengthy.
Absolutely lengthy.
It was lengthy. That means a student had to read that much amount of thing in that specific limited period of time.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure how many people could have entirely read the entire question paper.
Yeah, I'd like to know that from everyone who's watching us live. How many of you could read every question in logical reasoning and solve it? I mean, giving it a good amount of time and finding answers to it. How many of you could solve the entire logical reasoning, and how much time did you devote to it while solving it? I'd like to know that from people who are watching us live.
Absolutely.
How much time did you give to? Okay, you could read. And Pratishta, how much time did you give it? You could solve 60 questions. Okay. Bani, all right. Others? Could you read all the questions, solve all the questions? 1 hour. Okay. All right. So that's the entire catch, my child. That's the entire catch. Because the paper was lengthy, could we afford 1 hour to solving logical reasoning questions? Because I had 10 minutes spare for GK, and then could I do the entire English in 20 minutes? Possibly not, because we had 9 passages in that. And that's exactly why we termed this section as moderate one, because it was dominated with critical reasoning and it was a lengthy section.
Lengthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, sir, good number of attempts in AILET in logical reasoning.
Out of the 12 questions that precisely came in the legal reasoning section, I think 12 out of 12 was attemptable. I would say that one was little tricky, but generally speaking, people out of those 12 questions, I'm just taking into consideration those 12 questions, I think people should get 10 out of 12.
Okay.
Just normally, just very normally, it was not difficult at all. Insofar as your preparation, the kind of preparation you guys have done, getting 10 out of 12 was an easy thing.
All right. But if you look at the overall difficulty level of the logical reasoning section, out of the 70, yes, exactly. Because out of 70, we expect a good attempt to be somewhere around 34, 35. And even if you manage to score a good 27, 28 correct, you are good to go. You're good to go. And all of this, see, some of you might have attempted more and scoring more, but then this comes in parallelism to the remaining sections, giving each section the desired time it deserves, and then gradually marking questions. So you might have marked more questions here, lesser questions here, but there has to be a balance that will make sure you get into your college. So on an average, we expect you to get a good 27, 28 correct. If you've done that, along with the other good scores, you are good to go here, absolutely. So overall, 81 to 84 attempts, I think, is a good number of questions that you must have got correct in proportionate to the remaining sections. All right, so let's talk about the logical reasoning section. Sir, I think I'd like you to talk about the legal reasoning section, the 14 questions, 2 we are using legal terms once. And you had already said that these were probably easier as compared to the last few years' papers. Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then let's talk about the 52 questions that appeared from the verbal reasoning ones. See, guys, they weren't very difficult. The only hitch was the time constraint. Many assumption questions. If you are through with your assumptions concept, you'll get so many questions correct. The one-liner questions weren't so many. The strong and weak arguments, which argument is strong, which is weak, which is the assumption, which is implicit. These questions were there. And then we had so many syllogism questions. So I would have expected you to solve these syllogism questions beforehand, because these were easy, these were scoring. You did not have a doubt in these questions. You could certainly mark an answer without ambiguity here. So that's why moderate, only because it is lengthy, but it's a doable section.
It was doable.
Absolutely.
This question paper was doable.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look quickly at the last few years pattern of the reasoning section that has emerged over the years. If you look at the paragraph based questions, 2021 had merely 3. Do you see the sharp rise here? It's a graph that they're riding on. They had merely 3, strengthening, weakening 3, no conclusion question, in no assumption question as well. This year it was full of assumption questions. Okay. Yes, exactly. So that's a rough breakup of the last few years paper, but then we have deviated from that completely. I don't think we need to talk about that a lot. So this year we had 17 assumption questions, we had 16 syllogism questions, we had 11 conclusions question, completely moving a divergence from what we have seen in the last few years. Good lesson to learn, all the 23 targeting students. Please be prepared for any kind of paper that might come up. It will certainly test you on your reading skills and your logical inclinations. So that's what this paper is about now in short. So sir, I think I'll hand over this session to you now. I'll like you to start with the legal reasoning actual question discussions. But there's one glitch here. The first question has been mistakenly put into this legal reasoning section, which was a critical reasoning question. So I'll solve this question first, question number 88. That's a critical reasoning question. And then I'll pass on the session to Shurojit sir to discuss the actual answers. So question number 88 spoke about how promoting oneself as a lawyer isn't permissible by the Bar Council of India after 2008. There was a law that was passed. Okay. Now there's a trick here. How many of you marked B as the answer? Sorry, neither as the answer. How many of you marked this as the correct answer? I'd like to know that from you. How many of you marked neither as the answer, and what do you think should the correct answer be? It's a tricky question. The idea was you could not promote yourself as a lawyer. Okay. But then there was a catch here. Option number 2 said lawyers in India are not allowed to commend themselves to persons looking for legal. I can commend myself. I can go and tell you, okay, I'm a lawyer, I'm doing a good job, come on, hire me. Okay, you don't necessarily have to place an ad for that, right? But there is a word here, and that is you cannot even use personal communications. So if you can't use personal communications, I can't even go and tell people that, come on, hire me, I'm a good lawyer. No kind of communication at all. So ultimately, the correct answer here cannot be a D. The correct answer has to be an absolute B. Let's move to the legal reasoning part, and I'll hand over my session to Shurojit sir. Sir, here you go.
Okay, the next question is question number 91, which reads a suit for recovery of money. Now this was relating to maintainability of a suit, and the time period was given exactly as 3 years. Now it was a very simple suit. Okay, limitation period. This question deals with limitation period, a 3-year period between the cause of action and filing of the suit. Now it's very easy. The cause of action came into being on March 17, 2017, plus 3 years. 18, 19, 20. Okay, 16th of March 2020, the limitation is over. So the suit is not maintainable. Okay, if you read the question, The second line of the principle, it says that the date the money becomes due to be recovered, suits filed after that period are not maintainable. Suits filed after that period of 3 years is not maintainable. So the correct answer is option A. Okay, option A becomes the right answer. Moving on. Yeah, the next question is 106 question. Let me read that question. An advocate is bound to accept any brief in a court or tribunal or before any other authority. Okay, so the law simply says that a lawyer cannot refuse a brief from his or her client. Now, here is a person who is convicted of serious terrorism offenses. Now, he wants to hire a criminal lawyer who is practicing in the Supreme Court. He wants him to come to the Delhi High Court and argue his matter. Now, can he refuse to take on moral grounds? The answer is no, he cannot. He cannot. He has to accept that brief, because under the Advocates Act, a lawyer cannot refuse a brief just because he believes something is right or something is wrong. That is not done. Okay, so the correct answer to 106 is option C. You are under an obligation to accept the case because the principle makes no exception for advocates having moral objections. Okay, so option C becomes the right answer. Moving on to question number 107. Okay, the next question, 107. The principle says no person accused of an offense involving commercial quantity of narcotic drugs shall be released on bail. So the principle deals with bail. Now come to the facts, very interesting. Mr. Michael is accused of of possessing commercial quantity of cocaine. However, he has not been arrested. Now, the principle deals with bail after arrest. Now, here it's a situation where a person is not arrested. He is accused of a particular crime. He is asking for an anticipatory bail. Now, there is a big difference between a bail and an anticipatory bail. Okay, there's a big difference. So, this insofar as 107 is concerned, the correct answer is the court is not bound by the given principle, because the principle deals with bail, the facts deals with anticipatory bail. These are two different concepts. Okay, so the correct answer becomes option A. Okay, moving on to question number 108. The question says the appeal by a candidate or his agent or by any other person with the consent of a candidate or his election agent to vote or refrain from voting for any person on the ground of his religion amounts to corrupt practice. So if a candidate is asking vote from a particular religious group people showing his religious affinity, okay, that is corrupt practice. Now, this is very, very tricky question, because most of you might see that what did this person say? Miss Tikku. Miss Tikku says, vote for me because you are all Christians and your interest will be protected by me. Now, the question is, does Miss Tikku say that I'm a Christian? Since I'm a Christian and you guys are also Christian, vote for me. She does not say that. So that's the trick. She is asking, she says that I'm going to protect Hindus, I'm going to protect Muslims, I'm going to protect Christians. Nothing wrong. So the correct answer over here is option B. Miss Tikku is not guilty of corrupt practice because she has appealed neither to her own religion nor to any other candidate. So please try to understand, it was a little tricky question, but the correct answer is option B. Okay. Moving on to the next question, question number 111. Okay, this deals with territorial jurisdiction. In a dispute between X and Y, Y can sue X in the city of Y's residence, in the city of X's residence, in the city where the dispute arose. Now, Y lives in Calcutta, the other person is in Delhi. So both Delhi and Calcutta courts will have jurisdiction. Now, I have a small thing to add over here. I think there is one small typographical error in this answers. If you come to the correct answer is 2. Option C, if you read, in either one of Delhi and Calcutta, Delhi or Calcutta, okay, there the answer should be either Delhi or Calcutta. Now there is this word and given between Delhi and Calcutta, so I have a little confusion. If this is or, if Delhi or Calcutta, then option C is the right answer. If NLU says no, there is no typographical error, then option D is the right answer. So I personally believe that in either one of Delhi and Kolkata is, I think there is some typographical error or some questions to be asked, okay? So if the correct answer is both Delhi and Calcutta courts will have jurisdiction, okay? So C should be the answer if or is added over there. Moving on to the next question, 112. 112, agreements are not enforceable. Now, all contracts are agreements. Only contracts enforceable by law are contracts. Only agreements enforceable by law are contracts. Why is a government official tasked with issuing driving license to applicants who meets the criteria? X has applied for the driving license. He does not meet all the criteria. So he says that you pay 5,000 rupees and I'm going to issue driving license. Okay. Now, is it a contract? It is not enforceable. It is not enforceable by law. So it is just an agreement. So the 112, the correct answer happens to be option B. X is wrong because an agreement not enforceable by law is not a contract. Okay, it's a wrong. Okay, this agreement is wrong. Moving on to the next question, 115. Yes, this deals with trademark. Only registered trademark can be infringed. Copying a registered trademark is sufficient to constitute infringement. X owns the trademark of a restaurant. Y copies the trademark. Now, X owns the trademark. That means since he owns the trademark, that simply means that he has a registration of that trademark. Since he has registration and somebody copies it, it's infringement. So the correct answer to 115 is option A. X's trademark was registered. Y has necessarily infringed X's trademark. Okay, so option A is the right answer. Moving on to question number 135. Yeah, it deals with freedom of speech, and that, okay, under Article 19, you know that all the freedoms that are provided are not absolute. They are subjected to reasonable restriction. Now, freedom of speech is not absolute. Certain categories of speech, such as hate speech, sedition, defamation, are not protected by the Constitution. Based on the information, what do you see? Obscene speeches is protected by the Constitution? Of course, no. Defamation is a criminal offense. Now, from the passage, where does it say that defamation is a criminal offense? Of course, in law it is, but that is not provided in the passage. So 135, the correct answer is neither 1 nor 2 follows. Okay, so the correct answer is option D. Moving on to question number 139. This deals with act of God, natural disaster, earthquake. Okay, so X and Y entered into a contract for supply of goods. There were two clauses over here which are very important. The first clause simply says, the first subclause simply says that in case of natural disaster or human event beyond the control, neither the parties will be held liable. And secondly, there are two clauses, right? And the second clause says that the successful innovation of this clause by either party shall protect the party from liability for non-fulfillment of its obligation. So these are the two things. Now, let's read the facts. A contract requires X to deliver goods to Y at least by 30th of May. 30th of May is very, very important. Now, both X and Y lives in the same city. On the morning of 30th of May, there is a big earthquake for which all the roads are blocked. All the roads are blocked. So this is clause 1, okay? Now, owing to this, he cannot deliver the goods by 30th of May. So, let's see. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is yes, earthquake is a natural disaster beyond X's control. Option A is correct, as well as option B. Why? Because, yes, because X's failure to deliver the goods by to Y by 30th of May was due to this earthquake. So option A and option B both are correct. So the correct answer happens to be option D. D is the right answer. A combination of both A and B. Okay, so both A and B are correct. Moving on to the next question, which deals with territorial jurisdiction once again. In a dispute between X and Y, Y can sue in the city where X resides, in the city where the dispute arose. X and Y enter into a contract which requires delivery of goods to his house by 30th of May. He lives in Delhi and Y lives in Calcutta. Okay, X fails to deliver the goods by 30th of May owing to an earthquake in Delhi. X wants to sue. Now, again over here, it is either Delhi or Calcutta. Okay, both Delhi courts and Calcutta courts will have jurisdiction. Both Delhi courts and Calcutta courts will have jurisdiction. Okay, but again, and is given. I think, I don't know, there might be some difficulty with NLU Delhi. Why did they use that word and? I don't understand, but generally it should be, it is both Calcutta courts as well as Delhi courts will have jurisdiction. If NLU Delhi sticks to and, then it is none of the above, or else it is generally option C. Okay, moving on to the next question, the last question for legal reasoning, question number 48. There is a statement which says that the Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 seeks to authorize the taking of measurements of convicts and other person for the purposes of identification and investigation in criminal matters. There are two people who are speaking certain things. Let's read that. Person 1 says the bill should not become a law because it allows for collection of measurements without the provision for data protection. That means this person 1 favors data protection. Okay. Person 2, I disagree. Data protection measures can be developed, but the bill will help law enforcement agencies to utilize the latest technology. Now, person 2 says I disagree, but he says data protection measures can be developed in future. That means he is also optimistic about that fact. He is also very much optimistic, very much positive about it. So the correct answer to question number 48 is nothing but option B. Person 1 and person 2 both agree that data protection is very important and they are concerned with the bill. Okay. So this is all that we had for the legal reasoning section, friends. Now, a very good attempt out of these questions that we have discovered, that we have discussed now. I think most of them were solvable, they were easy, they were not difficult, and I'm sure that you guys did enjoy solving these questions. It was not at all difficult at all. Other parts of logical reasoning, you might say that it was lengthy, but legal reasoning part was easy, simple, to the point.
Alright guys, so thank you Shurajit sir, and I'll take over the session forward. We have the dreaded logical reasoning section with so many critical reasoning questions. Are we ready to solve it, everyone? Before we actually start solving it, did you like the session yet? Have you clicked on like button? Have you clicked on the subscribe button? Have you clicked on the share button? Have you done that yet? If you haven't done that, please do it and tell me that you're watching me live. Send me a hi quickly, everyone. I'll start solving the questions with you. Yes? Everything good? Shall we see the first question out? The second rather, because we've already done one question. Okay, so question number 81. Okay, now this is basically something that tests you on your assumption, and there were many questions on assumptions being asked. So this paragraph in a nutshell talks about how the telecom services in South Korea and Japan is the best in the world. And then the passage gives you an indirect reason by comparing it with other countries where there's a bid that goes on and people win the bids, and that's where they start the telecom. India has been a victim to it for quite a while, the 3G and 2G spectrum auctions, right? So the entire passage is a criticism to auctioning. They say South Korea and Japan, they don't have auctioning happening. Okay, so we need to figure out what the correct assumption here is. The correct answer here is going to be a C, that the governments that wish to provide good telecom services should not auction. That is a learning that can be derived from the best telecom services provided by South Korea and Japan. Okay, now the simple methodology, as I and Katie sir over the last 1 year we've been telling you repetitively over and over again, negation, 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 negation. If you mastered that technique, you would be very good with this answer. If the government did not wish to provide good telecom services, and if that's a suggestion by the author that they should auction telecom spectrum, then why would he focus on South Korea and Japan being the pioneer, right? He would not. My entire question becomes baseless. So my entire question is dependent on the fact that if you need good telecom services, you should not auction them. That's the correct answer. Correct answer here is a C. Question number 82. Okay, this question spoke about, yes, sleep deprivation, and how sleep deprivation already was an issue before the pandemic, but when the pandemic started, it became even a severe problem. So ultimately, and there are many instances where sleep deprivation occurs, okay? So for example, natural disasters, terrorist attack, and COVID. So these are examples of how sleep deprivation can happen. Can you see a correlation between these things? Natural disaster, terrorist attacks, COVID. What is the link between them? That is heightened levels of stress. High level of stress in situations like terrorist attack or a pandemic or a natural disaster, and thus people have insomnia as a result from that. And it could be long term and short term as well, because short term is already mentioned and long term could be going on for months. The correct answer is going to be a C here. Guys, are you even watching me live? I'm unable to see any comments from you. Can you send me a hi, everybody? Are you even watching us live? How many likes do I have already in the video? What did you mark? I'd like to know that from you. I need to know that we are having a conversation here, okay? Send me your answers. What did you mark? I'd like to know that from you, okay? Let's have a look at question number 83. Okay, so okay, now this is something that's more of a mathematical one, okay? You had numbers here, and that number will clearly lead you to one answer. And this answer here has to be a B, because when you do the mathematics, you know the 2.99 billion letters, and it was possibly not possible earlier, but it has been possible now to complete the full seamless catalog of human genetic instruction. Now after we have this number of letters of human DNA available with us. So a simple mathematical formula and a simple calculation will lead you to this answer. The correct answer is a B. Question number 84. Okay, so some one-liner questions appeared. Let's have a look at this. Again, an assumption question. India should generate solar energy to meet its unmet energy requirements. It was a suggestion. What did I teach you? When you give suggestions, there are some implicit assumptions that the suggestion will be followed and it can be taken out. It can be carried forward by you, right? These are a few suggestions that are implicit when a suggestion is given. So the correct answer is, one says solar energy is cheaper. I don't know if it's cheaper, but it's a suggestion that you need to carry this out if you wish to meet your unmet energy requirements. I don't know if it's cheaper or expensive. Maybe it's expensive, but that will help us meet the unmet requirements that we have. So one cannot follow. India is capable of generating. If I give you a suggestion, read a lot. I know you're capable of reading. That's exactly why the suggestion came in, right? If I knew you were not capable, I would not give you the suggestion. 2 will certainly follow. 3 says India is unable to meet its energy requirement. If you are unable to meet the energy requirement, that's only when I'll give you a suggestion of how to meet the unmet energy requirement. If you were able to meet it already, why will I give you the suggestion of how to meet the demand? Doesn't make sense, right? So India certainly has some unmet demands, and solar energy is going to help us doing that. 3 also is going to be an implicit assumption. Our correct answer is D, both of it. Both are implicit. Okay, next question, question number 85. Here we go. Okay, guys, just a minute. Give me a second, guys. Next question, everyone. Question number 85. To catch the rats running around the house, you should use a trap. Another suggestion coming in. Okay? And with suggestions, what did we learn? That suggestions are made so that they are followed. Assumption is that they are being followed. Assumption is that they are going to be helping you. That's why suggestions are made. Okay? All right. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. What did you mark? You marked the C. Okay. All right. C, everyone. Okay. Anadi, Dhruv, Ranix. Everyone marked the C. That's very good. The correct answer is a C. Certainly. Only one. Rats are likely to step into the rat trap. Food? I don't know. There's a rat trap which is going to catch a rat. But I don't know if the presence of food is a necessity or not. Wrong. And I don't know about their size. Maybe they're huge as the room is. I don't know anything about its size. The correct answer is only and only C follows. That is only one. Next question. Question number 86. Okay. So it says, when you play sports, you have lesser stress. Does that mean everybody who plays sports has no stress? Yes or no? I'll repeat. If you play sports, you will have lesser stress. Does that mean that sports is a necessity to elevate stress? No. Sports is one of the ways through which you can reduce your stress. But it does not mean it is an essential thing. I may reduce my stress from other means as well. One will not follow. I knew some of you will fall prey to it. One is wrong. The correct answer is neither. People who regularly play sports never face, again that's extreme. Yes, Ranix, that's extreme. I can't say this never is going to be a correct one. The correct answer is neither. Okay? D. Akansha, I'm so sorry, what's your name? I'm so sorry, I didn't get you. Akshansh, I hope you got the correct answer here. Question number 87. Okay, so video games have been criticized, but what did we teach you? If there is a contradiction, what does the author believe in? The first half or the second half? Do you remember what we had taught you? If there's a contradiction, the first half is only to pacify you. The author's belief lies in the second half. What follows after the contradiction? The first half said that video games have been criticized and they make people violent and their behavior becomes violent. But then the second half is important. He says there are studies who say there is no correlation between the two. The second half. Okay, that's going to be the important part. The correct answer is going to be video games have no relationship with violence. Yes, that's what the author believes in. The first half is irrelevant. The second says better studies need to be, no suggestion is given by the author what we need to do in the future. So the second is not going to be a correct conclusion. Our correct answer is only and only A follows. Next question, everyone. Question number 89. Okay, so 75% seats reserved for domicile residents of Kerala. Good move or bad move? What does the author say? What did you mark here? According to the author, it's a bad move. Okay, he says it's wrong and it's improper. He uses this word that this move adopted by Kerala is improper. State of Kerala is improper, and he gives you reason that every state authority is required independently to apply his own mind, because every other state is doing it. You also blindly do it. It doesn't make a very strong reason. Okay, a lot of you saying A. Udesh, let's see that 75% seats in all public institutions are occupied. Guys, there's a difference. I decide to make a reservation for 75%. Okay, does that mean they already are reserved, already are taken up, already are occupied? No. They may be in the future, but certainly they are occupied is wrong. The reason is not an assessment of backwardness. Does my paragraph even suggest that this reservation is for backwardness? No. It's for domicile reservation. I don't know if it's for backward classes or any kind of other backwardness. The correct answer is going to be neither 1 and 2. Neither. Yes, you got that correct. Okay. Question number 90. Okay. So Chernobyl. Have you seen the series? If you've seen the series, you'll understand exactly what the whole passage talks about. It says Before Chernobyl and during Chernobyl, the quality and the security was poor, okay? But later on, it improved a little. You know the correct answer. What did you mark? You marked a D, both B and C. In the period preceding the Chernobyl disaster, Western nuclear scientists believe reactors are superior. See, read this line that talks about the Soviet reactor designs. While no one in the West was under any illusion about the safety, there was no illusion, no hypothetical situation that the Soviet reactors are superior. It's the opposite of it. B is wrong. B is wrong here. No, it's the opposite of what? They were under no illusion about the superiority of early Soviet nuclear reactor designs. B is wrong. The correct answer is going to be C. It is going to be a C. Only and only C is applicable. Okay? It's not A. Financial investment, nuclear reactor safety was not a priority. We don't know if it was a priority or not. It was a failure, but I don't know if it was a priority or not. A is going to be wrong. The correct answer is a C. Next question, everyone. 92. Okay. So, strong and weak arguments. How do we solve strong and weak arguments? We see which argument is forceful, which argument is not a forceful one. Imagine this is a debatable scenario in the court. You are a judge and this is the case going on, and these are the arguments given by 3 lawyers. You have to analyze the arguments of each lawyer in terms of its strength or weakness. Okay. Question number 92 says, LeBron James, the best professional basketball player of all the time. There's a case going on in the court. Okay. And we have to decide if he's the best basketball player or not. Somebody says a C, which is only 3. Let's check out 3. Yes, no other player has scored. Is score a good benchmark of a player being good or bad? Yes, because that's how you call possibly Nadal the best player of all the times. Yes, or maybe Sachin the best player of all the times because of their scores. So scores certainly will be something the judge will pay heed to. He'll say, okay, I can understand you. Scores is something I can measure. So third certainly is correct. Let's check out the first one. LeBron James has had the largest fan base. Fan base, the judge will say, so what? Okay, maybe Hardik Pandya has the best fan base. Does it make him better than Sachin? Okay, I'll reserve my comments here. First is a weak argument. The judge will say no. It doesn't have a reasoning and it isn't backed up with data. It's only an opinion. Weak argument. And second says no, he has changed his team too many times. That rather makes him a bad player. Right? So 2 is wrong. The correct answer is going to be only and only C. Next question. Okay. Children should not read novels that contain instances of racism. Person 2 says, parents and teachers of children can use such novels. So basically, 1 is a criticism to novels that talk about racism. 2 is a promotion of novels that talk about racism. He says, why do you take these novels negatively? Okay, you could possibly use these novels that talk about racism to teach what racism is and to avoid racism. You can use this as a way of making children understand not to delve into racism. So 2 is basically a promotion of such novels. Okay. A says person 1 and person 2 agree that some novels contain instances of racism. Exactly. If they do not agree, they would not have this conversation altogether. You and I agree that AILET had the logical reasoning section. If it did not have the logical reasoning section, why you and I would be talking about that? So, correct answer is going to be A. Person 2 supports racism. He doesn't support racism. He supports the idea of reading novels on racism. He doesn't support racism. Okay. So, the correct answer is going to be an A. Next question. Okay. So, 43 minutes already that we've been doing it. I need to run faster. Okay. So, the entire passage speaks about how you need to be consuming cocoa because of certain ingredients found in it and how it will make you move away from diabetes and how it will help your blood flow. Okay, you guys have marked an A. You guys have got that right. I think the correct answer is an A here because we need to give a reasoning that supports the idea of consuming cocoa. Okay, communities with high level of dietary intake of dark chocolate, they show low rates of death from hypertension. Is that a point that supports the idea of consuming cocoa? Yes, it is. and that promotes the idea of cocoa being a nutrient-rich diet, which will make you healthier. A is our correct answer. Question number 95. Okay, so AI and a criticism to AI is what the article talks about. You'll have to give me a second now, guys. I'm really thirsty. Are you getting the answers correct? Did you mark correct answers? I'd like to know that from you. Are you getting these correct according to our answer key? Are you happy? Are you getting closer to your dream of getting into your dream college? 70%? Still good to go, Desh. Still good. Alright, Akshansh, okay. You're getting them correct. Okay, so basically this paragraph talks about AI, and then he says a but. So he says AI, what is AI? Humans make AI, right? So I can feed anything into it. I can talk about racism. I can feed racism into it, discrimination, and many other negative things. So what is AI? Is it neutral? Possibly not, because I feed data into it. That's what the paragraph talks about. So which one of the following is an assumption? The correct answer is an A. Existing data sets can incorporate the biases of human beings. Yes, they can. If I am biased towards a gender or a race, I can feed it into the AI that I am creating. That is possible, okay? All right, yes, Anadi, you should. Okay, so the correct answer is an A. Question number 96. Okay, now I'm not going to make syllogism diagrams for it. I'll quickly take you through the answers here, because these are super easy, and making the diagrams will take up a lot of time. The correct answer for this question is a B. Only the fifth follows. Okay, next question. The correct answer to this question, whales are mammals. Yes, it's a D. None of these follow. All are going to be wrong. Next, 98. The correct answer is an A here. Only one follows. Internet breathes. This is an A. A here. Next question, 99. That also is syllogism. B. B. Yes, these were very, very easy questions. None of them were tricky. None of them had ambiguous answers. Some questions did later on. But, okay. 100th is a C. No ambiguity here. 101 is a B. Okay. 102, another syllogism question. It's a B. 103, it's a D. 104 is a C. 105. Okay, let's do this assumption question. We are short on time, so we better send those documents via speed post. What did you mark? Did you mark an A or did you mark a C? These two are close options. What did you mark? An A or a C? You marked an A? Others? How many of you marked a C? That all other means of communication? Ranix, should it not be all? C is extreme. I'll tell you what. We're running out of time, so we should take a Zoom class instead. Does that mean Zoom class is the fastest method? No, maybe offline classes. But our mode of communication is limited to a YouTube class and a Zoom class. And Zoom is faster than a YouTube class, because I have only two means available. And one is faster than the other. Does that mean it is the fastest of all? No. The correct answer is an A here. Not from all, but faster than at least one more available option. It is an A. It is not a C. Did you get the logic here? Okay. So I have two choices, and speed post is fastest according to the choices that I have. Does not mean it is fastest of all the methods. Maybe sending a mail is the fastest, but I don't have a choice of sending a mail. The answer is an A. Okay. Strong and weak arguments. There must be mandatory vaccination against communicable diseases. Okay. So for example, link it to COVID. Should we vaccinate everyone? Should it be mandatory? Let's understand, should it be mandatory or not. So there must, yes, imagine the judge is, you are the judge and there's a discussion going on, okay? So yes, the collective well-being of the population must override individual choice. Although this must, you should do this, basically is an opinion, and opinions are weak arguments. Yet, if it talks about a social cause which has the support of majority, it becomes a strong argument. One does that. It talks about collective well-being of the population, which is supported by the majority. And when you point out something for a social cause, you always make a strong argument. One is a strong argument. And so is the second one. Okay? It must have agency over what you, certainly, it's your body and you need to be having the authority of what is injected into your body. You need to know that and you will decide what medication to take and what not. Nobody can force you to do that, right? Thus, 2 also is a strong argument. No, this will lead to the profiteering of vaccine manufacturers. So what? The judge will say, so what? Even if they're making profit or not making, what do I have to do with that? He'll discard it. The correct answer is NA. Yes, everyone says that correctly. It's NA. Question number 110. Okay, another strong and weak arguments question. Should there be a limit on the number of times an individual may be elected as a head of state? That's a tricky question. What did you mark, my children? What did you mark here? A limit on the number of times an individual may be elected as a head of state. Okay, you marked an A. Okay, only one is strong. Yes, it prevents concentration of power in a single individual. Prolonged. Very strong argument. A is certainly strong. But then, is 3 as well strong? That's what we need to check out, because we have 2 options, including 1. Okay, let's check out the 3. No, the population must be free to give democratic mandate to the person for choosing. We're talking about elections, right? And when we're talking about elections, if we're talking of giving people the right to choose, am I making a strong argument? Yes, I am, because I'm talking about a social cause here, an issue that needs to be addressed when we are in a democracy. And I might elect a government again and again and again over many times. If I'm in a democratic country, it is a B. Yes. Yes, Adesh. The correct answer is a B. You guys are related. I can see that. Okay. A syllogism question. The correct answer is a C. Another syllogism question. They actually at the first sight look like legal reasoning questions to me. But then when you dwell deep, you see they're basic, simple, logical reasoning questions. Syllogism. Correct answer is a D here. None of the above. Okay. Now this is a very interesting article that talks about Alzheimer's and how black people are very likely to develop Alzheimer as compared to the white people. Yet the studies only take into consideration the white people. It ignores the black people. And then the medicines are made and then the cure is made. But it doesn't even take into account the black people. The number of black representatives are so low that probably this entire study can be called an irrelevant one. Something that's not very effective. One option that talks about that is your answer here. What did you mark? Black people are reluctant to enroll? No, I don't know that. Maybe they are ready, but then the one who's conducting these tests are not ready to take them. Drug companies find it economical to enroll non-black participants. I don't know that. There's no information about that as well. The approval of drug X will enable pharmaceutical companies to do better understand. Rather, the approval of drug X will not be a correct source of treatment because it doesn't take into consideration the black people. Wrong. The approved drug X may not be as safe because it ignores the black people. Their participation is merely 0.6%. Such a low. So it could be a biased result. The correct answer is a D. Okay? It's a biased result. D is our correct answer. Next one. Okay. Now I'm not going to solve it for you. I'm going to take over Ankur sir's job. I'll just tell you the answer. You could eat up his head to solve this question for you. What was communicated to me was this question was lengthy, but this question was very easy. So the correct answer is a B. Now that's a B. Okay, W and Y. Next question. Okay. Similar answer for this, it's a C. Okay. So this is a C. I wonder why are you getting these wrong? Because Ankur sir, Gaurav sir, Srinivas sir, they told me these questions are easy. Okay. 119 is a C. Yeah, that's a C. Now everyone's confident of it. Yes, that's a C. Yeah. 120 is a B. All right, already 55 minutes. I'm going to quickly take you through the answers, okay, everyone. 121 is going to be D. 122 is going to be a C. 123, another syllogism question, is going to be a D. Both 2 and 3 follow. Another syllogism. You had roughly 17 questions on syllogisms. Did you solve them, everyone? The correct answer is a D here. Did you solve syllogism questions? That was the only examination that would ask you such questions. CLAT doesn't do that anymore. But that was beyond my expectation. I did not expect so many syllogism questions. 125, another syllogism one. The correct answer is a C. 126. So there's basically a restriction put on the tech giant companies, which was a much needed one. India also has been on the way of doing it, but we don't know when that's going to happen. But the paragraph talks about there's a regulation and restriction put on the tech giant companies so that they don't become even gianter, if I can use the word. That's not a word though. To focus on the fact that they are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger again. The correct answer is a D here. Tech companies with large market shares merit regulatory inventions in order to maintain competitive markets. Question number 127. Yeah, using ethanol to reduce the consumption of petrol ultimately will reduce our dependency on the petrol and petroleum products. Where does it come from? Animal farm produce. Okay, that's where the ethanol comes from. That's what the question says. The correct answer here is a D. That is and he promotes that this land ethanol can basically, it says this land can be used to produce ethanol. That means the land is appropriate enough to produce ethanol. If the land was not appropriate enough, I would not promote usage of land for producing ethanol, right? The correct answer is a D. Yes, it is a D. It is suitable for producing ethanol. That's exactly why I'm promoting this idea. Otherwise, I would not have promoted that. Question number 128 is a B. Okay. 129 is an A. Yes, absolutely. If it was not safe, it would not have been promoted. The same logic goes there, assumptions. 130 is a D. All of these follow. This was a very easy question. 131 is a C. 132 is a D. None of the above is correct. 133, he promotes Ayurveda here, right? He promotes Ayurveda, that Ayurveda is a good way. But does he compare it with the other sciences? Other ways of treating? No, he doesn't. So we can't compare it with allopathy, right? One is going to be wrong. So, okay, this is only 2. Okay, only 2 follows. My bad. Let's make it only 2. Let's check out the second one. Ayurveda is a neglected science. If I'm promoting something, that doesn't mean that it's a neglected one. It may be something that people pay attention to, yet I could promote it. The correct answer is neither. Yes, it's a neither. Okay. All right. 134, correct answer is a B. Yes, very easy question. 136 is a C. Yes. 137. Okay. Employers must offer flexible working schedules or risk resignations by talented employees. So if you don't provide them flexibility, probably your employees are going to leave the organization. What did you mark as an answer here? Employers should offer flexible working schedules. Okay. It must offer, an employee should offer. Is one even an implicit statement? You marked a D, only 2, okay. Some employees want flexible working schedules. Yes, that's a desirable one, and that's exactly why it's promoted. Exactly. That's exactly why it's promoted. Some employees value flexible working schedules so much that they would if these are not offered. Exactly. That's why that's promoted. The correct answer is an A. Both 2 and 3 are implicit. 138. Veganism. Easy question. The correct answer is a B. Another syllogism, 141. I'll quickly tell you the answer. The correct answer is an A here. 142. Another syllogism. I'm so tired of these syllogism. I had to just... Okay. So, these questions were very, very easy. That was the only reason why I would mark the section as easy, apart from the length that made it moderate. 142 is a D. 143, another syllogism 1 is an A. 144, yeah, this is an assumption question. So many of them is a C. Does anyone regret not mastering assumptions? Okay, logical conclusion is a D, both B and C. 146, yes, fake news, disinformation, problematic, it's A. 147 is an A. 148, oh sorry, 149 is a C. 150, and the last answer is going to be children who enjoy reading books usually do so indoors. Children should spend time playing outdoors. So promotion of going out, playing outside. What did you mark here? Conclusion. A says children should not read books. No, that's not the idea. You should go out more often. That's the idea. What is wrong? Children who enjoy reading books never play outdoors. Maybe they do, but not as much. It's a D. Neither. Exactly. It's a D. So guys, that was our list of answers that we had compiled for the logical reasoning section. And in a nutshell, if you've got an 85 plus correct, you should be able to get into NLU Tele for the general category. For the SC, we have 50 to 53, ST is 40, PWD 45, 46, Kashmiri migrants 55, and residents of Kashmir and Jammu for 60. That's what a prediction is for the cutoffs for 2022, unlike the last few years. Make sure you've liked this session. I am extremely exhausted now. I've seen you so many times today. Make sure you've liked the session, share the session, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that yet. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, on our channel on Telegram, and download our app on Google Play. Now, SLAT is on its way. AILET, done and dusted. Okay? Yes, Udesh, you have a chance, a very strong chance. Okay, so AILET, done and dusted. Keep it aside. Let the bygone be bygone. What are we now going to focus on? Has to be the SLAT paper. Make sure you work hard. Make sure you attend the sessions that we've scheduled on SLAT in the coming week. And thank you, everyone. Have a very good night. God bless all of you. Bye, everyone.